Sonam Wangchuk's hunger strike, which led to the Delhi protests, and the Indian pageant system has one uncomfortable thing in common. They both expose how we respond when systems fail us. Some people speak, most wait. And this is exactly how broken systems continue. Hello everybody, I am Lekh Uthaiah, your Femina Miss India Punjab 2022. I am a model, a content creator, and the founder of ELEKHTRA, which is a modeling and pageant training institute. I am currently planning to go on ground for monthly workshops, but until that, we currently offer one-on-one online sessions, the details of which is in the description, so you can check that out. I have a WhatsApp community called Electric 2026, which also has like-minded women like you and me, and I also respond in that group, so you can join that by clicking the link in the description. All of my other social media handles, including the Instagram page of ELEKHTRA, is in the description. Please feel free to follow. This video consists of 6 chapters. They are listed over here. They go all the way from me explaining the issue to understanding where pageant system stands in all of this. I have created this with a lot of thought and time, so I would love it if you watch till the end. Let's start with chapter number 1, which is the issue. First of all, who is Sonam Wangchuk? Sonam Wangchuk is an educationalist, he is an engineer, he is an environmentalist, and he is an activist. He decided to go on a hunger strike, a peaceful protest, until a few of his demands were met. The first is asking for a NEET exam reform to investigate why the paper leaks were happening, to hold the people accountable for the malpractice and the resignation of the education minister. The second is asking for statehood for Ladakh, asking for its inclusion in the 6th schedule, which also already has Mizoram, Assam, and a lot of other tribal communities. It gives them a lot of autonomy to protect their land, their culture, and so on and so forth. To set up the public commission for Ladakh and to protect the environment of Ladakh and regulate tourism. We primarily know about the NEET reform because that became a national issue more than everything else. And yes, you don't have to accept all the demands, but as a democracy that we as India claim to be, it is the most decent thing to have a conversation at least. The issue has become this massive because the government failed to even have a minor conversation. Remember Latent season 1 when there were FIRs that was filed against the Rebel Kid, which is Apurva, and Beer Biceps, which is Ranveer. Samay Raina had to delete all of his videos from YouTube because they were dirty jokes that basically hurt the sentiments of people. But here's a fun fact. Political leaders and reports suggest that there have been over 100 paper leaks over the last decade, which has affected roughly 7.5 crore students, especially people who have been appearing for NEET for their medical exams, the JEE mains, and the UGC NET exam. Countless students have ended their lives because of the psychological stress of giving the exam all over again, because we all know how time sensitive we are and how we prepare for exams, and to do that again, people's blood pressure has shot up. A lot of people jumped and killed themselves. Many unfortunate families end up taking loans to get their training done so that they have hopes that their children will become something much bigger. And all of that goes to waste every time there is a re-examination because of a certain leak. And there's never any accountability or any investigation on why that happens. But you must be asking me, ma'am, what good will supporting a protest do? What will it change? This leads to chapter number 2, the freedom fighters angle. Why do you think we have Saturdays and Sundays off instead of working all 7 days a week? That's because the labor movement bled till we could have 8-hour weekdays and 2 days off in a week. Why is the national flag of India only supposed to be spun in khadi and no other material? Because of the Swadesi movement, where people made sure that they boycotted the British polyester and textiles. Why do children go to schools instead of straight away going to a factory floor? Because of a children's crusade march. Women as of today, including you and me, can vote, we can own property, we have maternity leaves. These weren't a thing before. This came because of the suffrages and a lot of protests that women did to get these rights. Protesting and holding people accountable is a large reason why things today look the way they do. Almost every major democratic right that we enjoy today is there because somebody somewhere decided to be inconvenient. The point of a peaceful protest is not to force an agreement, it is to force an attention. But then you'll say, Lekh ma'am, I'm not interested in politics, I just want to win a pageant. Just tell me how to answer certain pageant questions. I'm apolitical otherwise. Okay, then take out a pen and paper. In the next 3 minutes, we're just going to answer some of the questions for you. Question number 1. As a foodie, what does food security mean to you beyond simply having enough to eat? For this, you will be researching on the chemicals of your food, the oils that are used, the fake ingredients list. Try to go through FSSAI. The Food Safety and Standards Authority of India gets thousands, by which I mean 7,000, 8,000 reports of adulteration in foods. How many of them actually get solved? Research on the cleanliness of the restaurants as well as warehouses where your Blinkit, Zepto, Instamart, where are all these things kept? Who's regulating it? Until you find the answer, congratulations, you've entered politics. Alright, next question. What would you do to make international travel and global opportunities more accessible to young Indians? For that, you will research on the falling rupee, the exchange rate which is making it really expensive for Indians to travel abroad. Research on the visas that don't get approved because our passport index is really low globally. Research on the treatment that Indians are given abroad. Suddenly, the dream of traveling the world has become political. Okay, more pageant coded. What environmental issue concerns you the most? And what change would you advocate for it? For that, you will research on the National Green Tribunal and the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. These are statutory bodies and government bodies respectively. See, are they holding themselves accountable? Is our government instead joining hands with businessmen and actually uprooting the trees and forests that help in keeping our climate in check in India? Solution to that? Politics. Let's say you're a road trip lover and the question given to you is, infrastructure shapes people's lives every day. What is the one change that would have the greatest impact in our country? For that, you will research on how much toll do you pay? How much are you charged for an 8-hour journey? What about the potholes that make you miserable? What about the quality of fuel, the petrol and diesel that goes into your engines, and is that making your engines worse? The answer starts with a public policy. Let's say you love children and the question given to you is, if you could improve one area of child welfare in your country, what would it be and why? For that, you will read about their early health outcomes. Is the pollution in check? How is it affecting the baby's lungs? What about children's safety? What about their education outcomes? The learning gap, according to statistics, is widening from the 3rd standard itself, and people by 8th standard are having difficulty doing a simple arithmetic problem. Despite the school fees shooting up, these aren't just social issues, they're also political. Let's say you love fashion, you're a shopaholic, and the question to you is, how can the fashion industry become more ethical and sustainable? For that, you will research on fast fashion. How is polyester being dumped inside our country? How it's affecting not just your hormones, but also the dyes that are being used. How is it polluting our rivers? And what about good quality sustainable fabric like linen, cotton? What about the handloom workers who create it? What are the policies and how much household income are they earning? What are the textile policies? What are the manufacturing regulations? Boom, you're now political. Let's say you're a sports fan. You love cricket, you love tennis, you love basketball. And the question given to you is, how important is investment in sports to a country's future? For this, you will read up about Khelo India, the funding given to it. How is talent identification organized? Are sporting competitions being structured fairly? What is the kind of infrastructure that is given to these budding talents? That also lies in politics. Do you notice something? Every answer that wins pageants more or less intersects at the same few topics. Hunger, education, climate change, women's safety, healthcare, sports, food, fashion, and they all intersect with public policies. So when someone proudly says, I don't care about politics, man, or like I'm apolitical, they're basically saying that they care about the outcomes, but they don't care enough to know what are the systems that get those outcomes. And if you are serious about becoming a title holder, you don't just need opinions, you need context. Comment that helped in the comment section if these questions and answers actually helped make your research and your pageant prep a little easier, so I know that you are interested and I could make a more detailed and dedicated video like this. Chapter 4, the attention economy. Our biggest problem isn't that we disagree. I know you are nodding and agreeing with things I'm saying right now, but the problem is that we forget. Every week, social media gives us a new trend, a new outrage, a new celebrity gossip. We all know when Deepika Padukone and Ranveer Singh are having their next baby. We all know what Alia Bhatt wore to Cannes Film Festival. We all know who Ori is. We know what's happening in Bigg Boss and Lock Up and Splitsvilla. And the institutions, they know this. They just wait long enough कि मामला ठंडा हो जाए and they move on. Chapter 5, Pageant Transparency. Somebody asking me to make a video on Miss Grand India. And I kid you not, I had made multiple drafts of a certain script all the way from May 11th, as soon as the grand finale ended, till May 15th. But I never got to shooting it because I was so heartbroken. And I did not know if I really wanted to talk about it. 2 state directors, I'll link the videos of who they were and what they said below, came forward with allegations that stated that there was a clear buying and selling of crowns. That organization has no sponsorships. The only way that they're organizing the pageant is through the money of the pageant contestants. There are voice notes attached where the national director goes on to say that हमारे पास already एक लड़की है जो 1 crore देने के लिए तैयार है, लेकिन वो थोड़ी ready नहीं है. तो if you can at least get this girl to get at least 70 lakhs, then we'll give her the crown. He also says मुझे ना North East में अपना market थोड़ा कड़क बनाना है, थोड़ा strong करना है. And we knew that one of the top 3 girls would be someone from the Northeast because that was his agenda. And I watched there and I saw the finale happen despite all the uproar that social media got. And I saw that the skanky clothes, unfortunately, that the beautiful girls were given, they were given thongs in the name of swimwear and there were no sarongs. And the girl who won, I'm currently watching her passerella or whatever training that she's going through for her international pageant, and she lacks luster. Are you telling me that she was the most deserving? Somehow that very word has gone off the charts. When I made the video on the Miss India finale, I got a lot of comments saying that, oh, you're just biased, you always seem to show that you're angry at that organization because you couldn't win, just accept that she deserved it and move on. Maybe she did, maybe she didn't. Which leads us to chapter 6, accountability in pageants. Back in the 90s and the 2000s, when pageants were actually great, when our moms and grandmoms would sit and watch it on television and who would become the next Miss India, who was becoming the next Miss World or the next Miss Universe, there were actually scorecards which were presented on TV. And as the judges scored them for each round, the cumulative scores or the eliminatory scores decided whether they would move forward into the pageant and win or not win. For example, Lara Datta, who won Miss Universe 2000, actually holds the record for the highest score in a pageant interview, where she got 9.99. She made pageant history because those scores were out there for us to see. And what transparency does is that people can still disagree with the judges, but at least we can see how a person won. Harna's Kaur, after she won Miss Universe, went on and gave a statement to the press saying that I didn't just win because I have a pretty face. In fact, preparing for an international pageant is equal to preparing for Olympics. And I agree. I've seen pageants, I've been in pageants, the preparation is rigorous. Why don't we have judge score sheets that are shown to people? Why is there no scoring criteria? Why are there no remarks as to why someone did not go to the next round? What are the reasons? Just like gymnastics, just like figure skating, just like debates, transparency protects everyone, including winners. Powerful institutions, they don't become accountable because people are angry for one night. On the finale night when we say that, oh, our contestants were robbed, or on a certain night where you said that, oh, neat papers were leaked again and there's outrage. It continues when we decide we should not forget. And I'm not saying to spread hate for the representative. The girl isn't the problem. The system is. So support her. She's going to get India on the international stage and absolutely she deserves our love. But don't confuse the two. Just because you're supporting a contestant doesn't mean that you don't have the right to ask for accountability. I have a list of videos where I talk about the reality of beauty pageants. A lot of people go on to say, you know, you're so brave and you have so much guts to be speaking like this. But I'm like, who else will? With my platform, if I am someone who's telling you to go to a pageant because it changed my life and I know it will change yours because of what a massive change that it brings to your personality, I have a list of videos where I talk about the realities of beauty pageant. I review a certain level of podcasts. They're also linked in the description and you'll also find them here somewhere. Go click on them, watch them after this video, and support me when I make videos like that, because that's how we can collectively make pageants great again. I love my pageant community. I love you guys. That is why I keep showing up, right? Without really anything to gain. But the strongest pageant communities aren't the ones that never criticize. They are the ones that care enough to ask for better. Remember that. I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.